Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Natazab. We are back again doing a Shabbat class for you. Salakia, Salakia, Salakia. I know we haven't done a class in about literally a month. It's been about a month. I had to take a break. I was tired and I just needed a break. Simple as that. It ain't too much more to it. Other than that, we're going to get back to this Shabbat classes, finish up Genesis as we chronicle through the series here. And as a quick recap, last class, since it's been a minute, we went over Genesis 37 through 40. We got to Joseph, as you can see on the screen here. We got Joseph. He was sold to his brothers. We got into Judah and Tamar. We got into Joseph and the Pharaoh's wife and the dreams of the two prisoners. So that catches us up to where we are now. And we're going to go forward with Genesis 41 through 45. We're going to get into Joseph, his interpretation of the Pharaoh's dream, and so on and so forth through that all the way up to 45 there. Let's see. All right. Anybody got anything they want to bring out before we get into anything? Con. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with Genesis 41. Let me put that up on the screen really quick. Genesis 41. I'll go ahead and start reading. All right, and it reads, we're going to start off with Pharaoh's dream. It says, and it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that the Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored keen and flattershed, and they fled into the meadows. And behold, 7 other kings came up after out of the river, and ill-favored lean-fleshed. Come on, Elijah. What do you want, baby? Lean-flesh stood by the other king upon the brink of the river, and the ill-favored lean-flesh kind did eat up all the 7 that was well-favored and kind fat. So the Pharaoh awoke. So they're telling you exactly what the dream was that the Pharaoh had. It says, and he slept and dreamed a second time, and beheld 7 ears of corn came on the stalk, and rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears blasted in the ears and slack. Yeah, hold on one second. All right, what did I leave off on?
The 7 ears about Pharaoh.
Yeah.
I'll just start at 5. He says, and he slept and dreamed a second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came upon one stalk, and came upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blessed and blasted the east was sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank full ears, and the Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he went and called upon the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof, and Pharaoh told them his dream, and there was none that can interpret them unto Pharaoh. As then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and he put Slakia, and he put me inward to the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, and he would dream, each man according to the interpretation of his dreams. It says, and there was Slakia, and there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each the man according to his dreams he did interpret. So finally, if we could remember from the last class, Joseph told him, he was like, yo, I'll do you this solid. You got to do me a solid. When the time comes, you got to remember me, and you know what I mean, so they don't forget me, so I can get up out of here. Because you got to remember, Joseph got unjustly thrown in jail. So finally Joseph's time has come when he finally gets brought up. You know what I mean? And Most High put the line of dominoes up just right, so Joseph's name can get brought up. We start at 13. It says, and it came to pass that he interpreted to us, and it was so, and he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. This is 14. Then Joseph sent up, and Pharaoh called up to Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself, and he changed his raiment, and came unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. I have heard say of thee that thou can understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came out of the river 7 kine, flat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in the meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up out of them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, and such as I never saw in the land of Egypt for badness. It says, and the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first kind, fat kind. As in when he had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, that they had eaten them, but they were still favored, favored as the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good, and behold, 7 ears withered and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them, and thin ears devoured the 7 good ears, and told them unto the magician, and there was none that could declare it unto me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one that God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The seven good kind are 7 years, and the 7 good years are 7. And the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the seven thin, ill-favored kind that came up after 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind, shall 7 years of be 7 shall be 7 years of famine. As this is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, which God is about to do, where he showed unto Pharaoh, behold, there comes 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of the famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, and it is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Come on, man. 33. It says, now therefore let Pharaoh look out, and man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land in Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. It says, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up the corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And the food shall be for the store in the land in the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land should not perish through famine. So basically, he told them, so since it's going to be plenty through the 7 years, what you do is gather double from everybody. That way, you hold it up. So when the years of famine come, you won't actually be a famine. You'll have grain, and everybody will have their own share since you took double from them, and you can give it back to them. So it's just it was a very well calculated plan by Joseph that the Most High gave him to help out Pharaoh, so he can maneuver Joseph and eventually help out the incoming Israelites, as we're going to read in later chapters. Let's see, 37. It says, and the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. It says, and Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such one as good as this, a man in whom spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as such as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. It says, and thou shalt be over my house according unto thy word. Shall all my people be ruled? Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So now he's saying, like, everything that I have rulership over, you'll have rulership over. Only person that's going to have greater power than you is me. So now he's basically making Joseph second in command of Egypt. So he says, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain upon his neck. And he made him ride into a second chariot, which he had, and they carried him before him, and bowed the knee, and he made him ruler of all of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name. I don't know how to say that. If somebody know how to say that, you're more than welcome to.
It's like
Zap. Remember that cartoon? Zaptopania or something like that?
Yeah, nah, dog.
Zaptopania.
Come on, that sounds correct to me. We're gonna go with that. Yeah, Zapathania. It says, and he gave him to wife as Seneth, and the daughter of the priest of On. It says, and Joseph went. Pontiphora, the priest of On. It said that Joseph went over all the lands of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And Joseph went out of the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. And in 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. For the food of the field, which was round about every city, he laid up in the same. So that's what he's gathering, the extra, I guess you could say. Okay, and Joseph gathered corn as the same of the sea, and very much until he left numbering, it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which was Aseneth and the daughter of Potipharah, the priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, for God, he said, hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And named the second he called Ephraim, for God hath caused he to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. As in 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended, in the 7 years of I don't know how to say that word, but I know it means drought. Yeah, there we go. So dearth, I think it is. Yeah, dearth or darth, but it means drought. It says began to come according to the Joseph. He said, and the drought was in all the land, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread, because what Joseph had did. It says and when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried unto Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he said unto you, do. And the famine was over in all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. The famine waxed sore over the land of Egypt, and all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy corn, because of the famine was so sore in all the lands. So not just Egypt got hit by the land, everything in the area got hit by this famine also. So we're gonna find the surrounding nations coming to Egypt for a what they call for a stimulus package, so to speak. They came to Egypt for that stimmy. So that's it. So they gonna come to Egypt, and now everybody got their hand out, and we're gonna see something. We're gonna see the tables kind of shift here a little bit. Let me see. Genesis. Let me see. 42. Jeez. All right, let me just type this here. All right. In Genesis 42, it says, now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look upon another? He said, and behold, I have heard there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy us some from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief shall befall him. So he's weary because what happened to Joseph the last time. So he was like, I'm gonna need my baby son to stay here with me, just in case something happens. So he still hasn't gotten over that. Slack it 1 second.
Shalom, Makims.
Shalom.
Okay. I'm about to continue reading. So he left off on verse 5. It says, and the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. So we see that it is a famine throughout Egypt and Canaan, and everybody got to come down to Joseph. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their face to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. So we see here Joseph is messing with his brother right now. His brethren is payback for what they did. So he know who they are. They don't recognize him because he probably got the dressing like an Egyptian.
No, he did. Remember,
yeah, he did. He shaved his head. I remember.
And everything. So he was probably wearing an eyeliner like the Egyptians. Everything. Yeah, the full regalia.
Verse 10. It says, and they said unto him, nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. So they letting them know the situation with their father, that they have a younger brother, and they even mentioned at the end it says, and one is not. What does that mean?
I think we need to break that down.
Yeah, what does that mean? That's very important. Do y'all want to take a shot at it? Any of the brothers? What does that last part mean?
On verse
13. Because it says, and they're explaining to Joseph. They said, and they said,
Salakia. Brother Hakan, Shalom. Y'all by Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
There you go. I forgot I had to unmute that mic. All right. Shalom. It's been so long. I had the regular mic muted. You know what I'm saying?
God. So
all right.
Anybody want to take a shot at that? So it says, let me read verse 13 again. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not.
That's Joseph right there. The one that is not is Joseph.
Okay, yeah, Khan, we know it's Joseph, but what does that mean though? And
wait.
Because you right, but what does it mean?
Salakia, where are we at? We at 40 1 and 2.
We on Genesis, because I know you just came in. We on Genesis 42 and we on verse 13.
Let's go. $48. So it's not.
Yeah, because the question is, what does that mean? And one is not at the end of the verse. You could read the verse all over, and somebody explain to me what does that mean? And one is not. We know it's talking about Joseph. What does it mean?
Just 10 brothers went down to buy corn, but Benjamin sent not with his brother, for he said, least peradventure mischief befall him. And the brothers of Israel came to buy corn among those. So all we discussed. I'm sorry.
All right, somebody go to Lamentations 5 and 7. This is going to help explain what is and one is not. If y'all know Joseph, y'all should know what it's talking about. We've been reading.
And somebody get Genesis 5 and 24.
I'm plus the Genesis. Genesis 5:24. And Enoch walked with God and was not.
It was not.
God took him.
For God took him. So we see right there in Genesis, what you just read about Enoch, he walked with God and he was not. Then right here in Genesis 42 and verse 13, at the end of the verse, it says, the youngest is this day with our father and one is not. So what does that mean?
Also Lamentations.
They think he's dead.
5 and 7.
Who said that? Say it again.
They think he's this Haushai.
Huh?
They think he's dead.
Oh,
Khan, that's what it means. They think he's dead. That's why they said one is not. They were talking about Joseph, meaning he's not here. Speaking that he because they thought he died. Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them, that is it that I spake unto you, saying, ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison. So we seen Joseph holding his brothers in prison and made one go get the youngest.
Because he didn't know about Benjamin.
Because he didn't know about Benjamin.
So he was just like, prove that y'all lying. Go prove that you got a younger brother. Because in his mind, I'm the younger brother that y'all.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
But at this whole time, he's still messing with him. You notice that they don't know who he is.
Right.
So it says that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. And he put them all together into war 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day, this do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. Verse 20, but bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. So he gave them a commandment. And this just proved his dream. Like he said, when we read up, it said Joseph remembered his dreams. Remember his brother, that's why they envied him. But he gave them a commandment to, and verse 21. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child? And ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. So they knew, they that's how you know they knew the law. They understood this. What it says, that because of this is why this is going happening to us. Right. Because if Reuben stood up as the big brother and said, y'all should have listened to me. I told y'all don't lay your hand on the child. Now look, verse 23. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again and communed with them, and took from them Simeon and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them, and they ladded their asses with the corn and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the end, he espied espied his money. Yeah. For behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brother, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their hearts failed them. So they were scared because they like, how do our money get back in here? Because it looked like they stole it or they took it. You feel me? But Joseph is messing with them the whole time. He's getting his payback. And it says, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God has done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. So they're explaining this to Jacob, like this is what happened. And the man, the Lord of the countries, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone, and bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, me have ye bereaved of my children? Joseph is not, and Simon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away? All these things are against me. So Jacob was like, man, he's going through it, because he said Joseph is not. We know he thinks Joseph is dead. Simeon is not, because Simeon is in prison, bound over there in Egypt. And Benjamin, now you're trying to take my baby? Verse 37, and Reuben spake unto his father, saying, slay my two sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. So Reuben, being the older brother, said, I will get the job done pretty much. Deliver me to his hand, and I'll bring him back. You know, if not, slay my two sons. That's the sacrifice. Verse 38. And he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. So this man was saying that I will die of a heartbreak if I let this happen. So y'all understood what was happening, what was going on? So we're gonna we could get started on the next chapter then. This is Genesis 43:1. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? So you see, their father is getting at him.
Right.
Well, come on. Verse 7. It says, and they said, the man asked us straightly of our state and of our kindred, saying, is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words, could we certainly know that he would say, bring your brother down. Verse 8, and Judah said unto Israel his father, send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. And it says, verse 9, I will be shorty for him. Of my hand shall thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. So Judah stepping up, talking about, saying what he will do. And if not, then I'll take this blame forever. So we see a Reuben make you could say a promise, like, okay, agreement, saying I will go down, and if not, you can slay my two sons if I don't bring them back. And now Judah speaking up right here.
They being big brothers.
Being big brothers, Khan.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You got something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, during that chattel slavery, Reuben helped out a lot of slaves, being that big brother, whether they knew that or not. You know what I'm saying? Slaves could go and take secure or take shelter or just be safe among they tribal brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stories of that coming from the South where they'll lead them, run into those tribes, and get covered by them, and they was taking care of them pretty good. So I was just wondering, like, yo, I know Benjamin is the younger one, but I'm wondering, like, does Judah still have that spiritual that connection to take care of Benjamin? You know what I
mean? Well, they are brothers, so.
So I just wondered.
I'm gonna read where I'm at, verse 10. For except
Salakia.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something too. Like, we starting to see, like, remember how they kind of all like teamed up to get to get rid of Joseph, but now they all teaming up, you know what I'm saying, to just for because it's Benjamin they got to get back, right? Or they just
the whole thing is they got to go. Their father needs them to return and get food now, but they're like, look, we can't return without Benjamin. We can't go down here without Benjamin.
That's right.
But,
that's like it. You got to remember, because before all of this happened, Joseph was the youngest brother.
Yeah.
So in Joseph's mind, he's like, y'all lying. Y'all don't have a younger brother. I'm the younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
So go produce this younger brother that you're talking about, and then I'll deal with you. So they actually have a younger brother. Only problem is Jacob is terrified because of what happened to Joseph. So he's like, no, Benjamin has to stay here. So now they're in a whole different situation.
And now they're pleading with their father. You see, Reuben spoke up, now Judah has spoken.
So they teamed up against Joseph to kick him out. Now they teaming up just to show this is another, like, it's like a team effort. It's like a team. It's like, huh?
Oh, it's good to have to take team effort.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
you
a
know,
team.
like
You see, that's why he got one in prison. Whether it says similarly
Oh,
in prison,
oh,
he says the
God.
rest. I'm gonna hold one of y'all bound.
oh.
Somebody got to stay here.
Y'all just dirty.
Yeah,
So y'all make sure to
yeah.
come back.
Because if I let y'all all go, y'all might not come back, or
Oh,
do something. But remember, this is a time of famine, so they know like they Jacob told them to take more money and go get food, but they're like, no, we can't without our brother. Because remember what the Og just said. Joseph wanted to see proof of his baby brother.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, come. That's
Because
right.
all he know, he was the baby brother. That last time he checked. But remember,
Right.
this is over a period of time.
That's right.
So verse 10, for except we have lingered, surely now we have returned this second time. And it says, and then,
Hey, Slakia, if you're not reading, can you mute your mic?
Right.
So like,
It was getting epic, Ock.
Fine. it was the climax.
I mean, it go, but it's just
God. So let me read verse 10 again. For except we have had lingered, surely now we have returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little blum and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks. Carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight.
Mm.
Take also your brother and arise, go again unto the man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother in Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So he's giving them a command. Look, you do this, take this, this, and that. Take Benjamin, make sure you bring them back. And your other brother, talking about Simon. Verse 16, Salakia. Verse 15. It says, and the man took the present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with him, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home and slay. It says, and slay and make ready. It says, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. So they about to have a feast. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time, are we brought in. So they thinking because of this money that was in a sack when they first left is the reason why they're at Joseph's house. This is so they still don't know who Joseph is.
Mm-mm.
Joseph know who they are. Joseph is messing with them. Let me finish it. It says that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of his house. And said, "Oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass when we came to the end that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of the sack, our money and in full weight. And we have brought it again in our hands." So they're trying to plead their cause at this point. "And other money have we brought down in our hand to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sack." And he said, "Peace be to you. Fear not your God, and the God of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money." And he brought Simon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And remember, that's that vision Joseph have. Remember when all the what's call this were standing round about Joseph, and they were mad at the vision.
Okay.
Y'all remember that back in Genesis? And then when they told their father told him, their father rebuked him, but their father observed the same. Because remember, the father rebuked and said, "Oh, so your father and your mother shall you shall rule over us too." Remember, Joseph said that.
Didn't believe his dream either.
But he observed it.
He did.
He rebuked him, but he observed it. So this is where I left off at, where he had bowed themselves because they had gave the present and bowed themselves to the earth. Sure so next chapter so I can change it. In verse 27, and he asked them of their welfare and said, "Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive?" So now he's asking about their father. And they answered, "Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obedience, just like that vision that Joseph had. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me?" And he said, "God be gracious unto thee, my son." So he once he seen Benjamin, he seen that was his mother's son. So that made him even close, because not only that Joseph was the baby at one point, but now Benjamin is. But what do they have in common? Not only that they share the same father, they share the same mother.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 30. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, "Sit, set on bread." Verse 32. And they sat on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. So you see how he did it. He said by himself, they said by themselves, and the Egyptians said by themselves. But you notice he didn't sit with the Egyptians. So that's a dead giveaway that he wasn't an Egyptian. Verse 33, and they set before him the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another, and he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as many of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. So like it, going to the next chapter. But y'all understand what's going on?
Yeah.
Making sure our brothers understand. Now we're gonna get into chapter 44. And it says 44:1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cups in the silver. Salakia, real quick. Salakia, Akim, Salakia. All right, I'm going to continue. Verse 42, and put my cups, the silver cups, in the sacks of the mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men, and when thou doest overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? So Joseph is still messing with them. After he just sent them away, had them fill it up with the money, cups, and everything, and even put it in the babies. Talking about Benjamin. Verse 5. Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth?
Divination.
Nah, divine. It said divineth or something. Right here.
Oh, that's divine.
44:5.
Yeah. Indeed, that divineth, ye have done evil in some doing, and he overtook them, and he spake unto these same words, and they said unto him, wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sack's mouth we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of the Lord's house silver and gold? It says, with whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. So this is what the brothers are saying. Verse 10, and he said, now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack, and he searched and began at the youngest, the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes. So so you see, Joseph is messing with them. Now they freaking out. No, not Benjamin. Because hey, let it be according to your words. Remember what y'all said.
Right.
So it says they rent their clothes and letted every man his ass and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? Raw, it says, wrought ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of thy servants. So they knowing what this is happening because of the sin that we did. The thing that they did with Joseph. Because of Joseph, all this is happening. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also, with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thy anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. So they over here trying to plead with him. My Lord asked his servants, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead. That there goes to answer your question.
That's a direct precept for 42 and 13.
Con, because he's speaking of Joseph right here, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidest unto thy servants, bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. So he's explaining all this to Joseph. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. So Judah did exactly what he said he was going to do if anything happened. He's being that big brother, stepping up, and he's pleading to Joseph about the situation, running it down to him. Verse 33, now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad at bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brother. And so he like, hey, let us trade places, in so many words. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father? Because dad, he would have died over. That's the second baby. Both of my babies is gone. Like, so we going to 45.
Anybody got any questions on that chapter? Any precepts they want to bring out? Anything like that? Oh, this is not the right tweaking. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get over to Genesis 45. Starting off there, Genesis 45 and 1. It says, then Joseph could not refrain himself before them that stood by him, and he cried, because every man to go out from me. There stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren, and he wept aloud. The Egyptians in the house of the Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, doeth thy father yet live? So this is Joseph revealing himself to his brothers. Finally, after so many games and all this other stuff going back and forth with them, he's finally letting them know who he is. He says, and his brothers could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. He says, and they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. He says, now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither. He says, for God did send me before you to preserve life. It says, for these 2 years had the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which shall neither be airing or harvest. It says, and God sent me before you to preserve a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
Salakia. Right here, that's where I go to show that Joseph was a savior, a deliverer.
Yeah.
When you read that, what we just read just proved that he's a deliverer.
Verse 40, Genesis 45 and verse 7. Read that again. It says, and God sent me before you to preserve a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
And so, let me read verse 5 all over again behind that verse. Verse 5. Now, therefore, be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. So that proves.
Moving on to verse 8. It says, so now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he that made me a father to Pharaoh, and the Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye and go up to my father, and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God has sent me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. He says, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou, thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. So now he's putting them in the best land that Egypt has to offer. That's what Goshen is. Now the Israelites getting the top pick. Brother Yadawa, if Yadawa want to touch on it, there's a reason why the Egyptians were so because there's a changing of the guard that happens as far as these Egyptians that are ruling in that land. If you go into it, we ain't got to get that far into it, but there's goes back to some believe that the Hyksos was there, and they're basically cousins of the Israelites, which made this transition a lot easier and a lot faster. But what verse were we on?
They the Hyksos were Hebrews. They were shepherd kings.
Yep.
And on the map it looked like it's North Egypt, but it's actually Southern Egypt. North Egypt would be like towards more Ethiopia and Sudan. When you go down the Nile River, that was like North Egypt. That's where the true Hamitic, Hamites for sure, Cushites for sure. But when you were growing up in Egypt closer to Israel, in that was considered Lower Egypt, next to Israel, that's where the Hyksos was at. So and you could find stories on that by looking at the walls of Karnak. And the walls of Karnak tell a story about the Hyksos, the Israelites. They even got pictures of the Canaanites. They got pictures of showing you the difference between a Canaanite, an Egyptian, and the Israelite. And the Israelites were dark Negro. You know what I'm saying? And the Canaanites, they show the Canaanites is like, like light skin, but that's what their skin tone was. There was a little light skin, but that is the walls of Karnak is interesting. There's hundreds of stories, you know what I'm saying, that you could check out just looking at the walls. They'll show you a picture of the walls, and you just look at the description, and the description will tell you the story about what's on that wall. So
so that's a little something, a little Easter egg to look into, dealing with Goshen, the Hyksos, and the people that was in that land at that time. So we're going to go ahead and get on to verse 11. It says, "And there I will nourish thee, for yet that there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that is in my mouth, that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and all that all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither." And they fell upon their brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. And moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren walked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, "Joseph's brethren are come," and it pleased Pharaoh's well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, "Say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lay your beasts and go and get unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your household and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land." So that goes to prove that the Goshen was the very best part of the land that Egypt had to offer. And of course, Joseph being second in command, going to put his immediate family in that best land. You see what I'm saying? The reason why I would say there was we'll get to, like, you'll see there later in the story where it says there are Pharaoh rose that knew not Egypt, that knew not Joseph and the Israelites. So that lets you know that's a changing of the guard. That's when those people, those so-called I guess what do you call them, the Hyksos. That's when they're no longer in rulership. So that changes the dynamic. That's when you have the actual Hamites coming in. It's like, no, we don't deal with the Israelites. Y'all getting out of the best land. Matter of fact, get out of here completely. We're going to put y'all in subjugate and servitude, things like that. So that's what we got coming forward after this. It says, so they're in the fat of the land. It says, "Now that thou art commanded, do this ye, take your wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, and and the good of all the land for Egypt is the good of all the land of Egypt is yours." And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandments of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for the way. And to all of them they gave each other changes of raiment, but Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. It says, and to his father he sent after his manner 10 asses laden with good things of Egypt, and 10 asses laden with corn and bread and meat of his father by the way. So he sent his brothers away and departed, and he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. And they went out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto the Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor of all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he had saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived, and Israel said, it is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. And that's how we get the rest of the Israelites getting into Egypt. Welcome into Egypt by a good way. And like I said, things turn for the worse. And we know the story after that. We go into subjugation and servitude. Marsha is raised up. You see what I'm saying? Then we get another savior. First, it was we can see Joseph in this aspect. When we're gonna get Marsha, then Marsha, we're gonna get Caleb / what's my man's name? Joshua, so on and so forth. So this savior figure is going to keep being. And the reason why I bring that up is like, we just got done reading Joseph. You talking about saviors. We got to remember, we're in the book of Genesis. Starting back to the beginning, remember the promises in Genesis 15, Genesis 18. The promise was made to Abraham that through his line, a savior of Israel would come. And Israel, and Israel will be of the sand of the sea, and we will, bless the earth and things like that. But it has to come through Abraham's seed line. Now we're more specific. We don't dwindled it down to the 12 tribes of Israel, and now we're dealing with that. So we're going to see this savior figure prominent throughout the whole teaching and the whole studies. We're going to come up, and it's going to come up through different forms. Right now, it's being manifested through Joseph. We just read that he's a deliverer, he's a preserver of life, and as you can see. To make a long story short, to get to the end of the book, you're gonna see that Christ is that same figure in the very end. You see what I'm saying? So that's how everything stays full circle. But that's it for today as far as the reading on Genesis and the Torah. Anybody got any questions? Any scriptures that they want to pull out? Anything really?
Mm-hmm.
No. All right. So that's okay. Bring it out then. God. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the live feed. If your brothers want to stay on and just chop it up, we can do that. That ain't no thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the class for right now. Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, the water for everybody tuning in. See you next time.
Shalom.
Shalom.